Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litza and I had this crazy idea to give myself a 60-hour challenge to make 5 baby blankets in 5 days. Each day I have 12 hours to complete the baby blankets. It doesn't have to be consecutive 12 hours, but in a 12-hour period each and every day. Each blanket has to be different though. And I have to use yarn from my stash. So this is going to be fun, finding the right yarn for each blanket. Different stitches, they cannot be the same. Each blanket has to be different. And I just thought it would be a fun way to document this via a vlog. I have never done that before, so please be kind. I invite you to join me along for this journey. It is going to be very interesting what I come up with, because there are no real plans other than what we just mentioned. Just a few little guidelines there, not rules but guidelines. I think it is going to be a lot of fun. I'm up for the challenge, guys. I have been thinking about this for a few weeks now, and it was the perfect opportunity being on school holidays, because I can't imagine how else I would be able to document this. So let's do this, guys. I'm very excited. Let me know what you think, and at some stage I'll come at the end and give you a little like a final check-in. Okay, let's do this. Good morning, good morning. This is day 1 of our 60-hour challenge, which I'm so excited about. So baby blanket number 1. I've been up for about 2 hours. It's currently nearly 9 o'clock, so 9 a.m. Pardon the look, because it is also the first day of the school holiday, so you know it's going to be pajama day. Now this pajama top says it all you need is coffee. I have got coffee number 2 waiting for me, so I can start crocheting for a couple of hours before I have to get up again. I hope you've all had a beautiful morning so far. The sun is shining here, but it is very, very cold. I've already put out a load of washing. I've had breakfast. I've had quite a cruisy morning actually. I thought it'd be a nice way to start not only this challenge but also the school holidays. I do have my timer ready because it is a 12-hour challenge each day. I'm just reminding you of that. Now, what's taken me the longest is that I hadn't, of course, chosen any yarn or anything. I just thought, I'd had an idea of 5 blankets I want to make, but I didn't sit down and be that organized. So this morning, I've been up in the yarn room and I found the blanket yarn that I wanted to start off with. And because I will be doing a C2C, I thought, let me just cruise into this. One of my go-tos is the C2C. It is a baby size blanket, so it should be around 100, 120 centimeters, which is about 30 blocks from memory. So I wanted to use this yarn, which I got recently, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. So if I get to it later, I'll tell you. It is a Burnett baby blanket, or a Burnett yarn. And in one of my recent yarn hauls, I bought 2 bags of this color. Now, I don't know if you can tell from, the camera, but it's got flecks of browns and grays in it. So I was hoping to find some solids in a complementary gray or a brown. I had neither that I had enough, because I need 2 bags of each. So I've got the Millens bags here, and I know that at a minimum I'll need 3 to 4 bags. So I wanted to make sure I had 2 bags of each color. And then I remembered I had some more yarn downstairs in my son's old room before he moved out. So I went downstairs and I found this gorgeous maroon color. I absolutely love this color. I probably bought it, to make something for Steve because it's his favorite color, but I'm sure he won't mind the sacrifice for some little baby. So these are the colors together. They are the perfect thickness, so they're probably the exact same yarn. And I will be using my 9mm hook. This hook has been used so much, it's getting a little bit grotty. I might have to get a new one. But for a hook that probably cost me $2 on Amazon, because I bought a pack of 4, I think it was, like the chunkier sizes, 7, 8, 9, and 10 from memory. This has been used so much that it's not that I'm not happy with it. I'll see if I can clean it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I tend to do that a bit. Anyway, so I'm going to start very, very soon on this. I do have my timer ready. The plan for today is to crochet, have a few breaks. I'll, tap in and out, is, you know, give you some progress, you know, let you know how my day's going. But I think that it's going to be very, very chilled. I've got my iPad hooked up to power because I have so many videos to catch up on. Now, speaking of videos, I spent a good portion of this morning while I was having my breakfast responding to the comments to the video that Steve and I did, the music video. So if you haven't already seen that one, I highly recommend you go and see it. Steve's appearance is always loved by all, and I'm really grateful that he, you know, he's open to when I say to him, do you mind doing a video with me? Anyway, so for now, I might start off with this color here. Not that it matters, because I'm going to do, the plan is that I'm just going to work half the blanket till I get to about 28 blocks, something like that, measure it, and then probably pop in this color for 1 or 2 rows. And then I'll do another couple on the other side and then put this one at the other end. It's going to be very simple, and then whichever color I have the most of, which is probably this one, if I'm starting to run out, I will use that to do a little scallop edge, because it looks very pretty with a scallop edge. So, you know, too much chitter chatter, obviously. So I am going to now grab my trusty hook, get started on this, put on my YouTube, and I will see you in for the next check-in. But before we get started, let's put our timer on. Very important. So this timer, I'm going to just pause on and off whenever I need to. But we are going to set it at 12 hours, guys. So the 12-hour challenges I've already explained isn't 12 hours, you know, consecutively. I will have breaks, obviously, because, you know, I am only human. So are we going to get started with this? So there's the 12 hours, guys. I'll see you all very, very soon. Okay, so I've been crocheting for about an hour and a half. I'll just pop that down. I have had a couple of stops or breaks in between. I've been pausing so that I can comment and like on all the videos I've been watching on YouTube. So it's been great catching up. I have had a little bit of a stretch. I've made a couple of crackers or cruscets for morning tea. I'll show you them in a moment. But more importantly, I'm halfway through one of the milling bags. So I've used 2 balls and I'm at nearly 20 blocks. So here it is here so far. The colors are coming up really nice. It's just a really soft speckle yarn, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I can't wait to put the maroon in to make it pop. Such a pretty, I think it's going to make a great combo. Anyway, so I might actually make it a little bit bigger, because I'm going to have more yarn than I thought, because I have 2 bags of each mill end. So I might just go to maybe 35 blocks on each side. When I get to almost halfway, I'll come back and just give you a little update, and, you know, we'll take it from there. So for now, I've actually taken a couple of minutes off as well, because I did text the newlyweds for their 1-year anniversary. Today is the 7th of July, 2025. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. And my daughter's birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks. So I did a group family, you know, let's get together to celebrate birthday dinner. I'm getting some responses already. She's going to turn 33. Oh my goodness, that is just crazy, right? Just love her so much. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to have a quick little break, get back to the YouTube videos, watching them. I've got, I don't know how many of you enjoy this combination, but we've spoken about it in one of our crochet and chats. So I love crunchy peanut butter, no butter. That's a huge discussion all around the Yarny community when we opened it up and in our home. And I love orange marmalade. So that's what's on my cruscets right now. Oh my gosh. So it is 11:05 at the moment here. And I am going to finish off my cup of coffee, have my cruscets, and then get back to crocheting. And the next time we meet up will be when I'm pretty much halfway. Okay, see you soon. Okay, we're back with a quick update. So we're just over 4 hours in. There's the countdown. So we've got just under 8 hours to go. The good news is that I'm halfway through. So at 30 blocks in this color, I measured it, and then I thought, okay, we're pretty much at a good length. And then I added 2 stripes in the new color. So the color that's going to go to the decrease side. And I'm actually now at 32 blocks. We're at 45 inches. 45 inches or 100, just around 115 centimeters. So that's actually a really good length. Look at that. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's huge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the original color that I started with, so the one with the little flecks in it. I've got to get the name of it. I have to look that up. Probably going to go watch my haul video. So I've actually finished one bag of mill-ends in this, and I've just dipped into the new one. So I'm going to do 2 rows now. I'm going to start decreasing. So I'll do 2 rows in this, and then I'm going to finish off in this beautiful maroon color. Absolutely love that color. So if we're, if this is indication, we're pretty much on track. I'm hoping that this blanket will actually be finished tonight. I do need to put a border around it as well, so we'll see how we go. Let's say it's 3 o'clock. It will be very soon. So we've got, oh my gosh, 9 hours till midnight. I usually don't sleep till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I think we might actually get this one done. I will do at least one more check-in, probably after dinner, unless anything dramatic happens in between, which I hope not. Steve usually leaves the house. This morning he left at 5 a.m. He usually gets home at 5 p.m. So by the time, we hang out a little bit, make lunches for the next day, blah, 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 all that stuff that we do when we're at home. I'll be able to work on this in between, bring the clothes up. Boy, did the weather change. There was no going out on the balcony today. It got really overcast and super cold. So I even closed the shutter, the sliding door that goes from our bedroom out to the balcony. So I've got myself another fresh cup of coffee there, and I've got one of my favorite snacks. I've got to show you this. These are so adorable. I love the big digestives with the chocolate coating, of course, on top. Milk or dark, either, I'm happy. But these little snack size ones are so cute. So this is the last one in the pantry. So after that, I may not buy some for a while because, we're going to have a crochet and chat and discuss a few other issues. They're not issues, just things. So that's it. Let's get back on track. Blanket number 1, we're halfway done with just under 8 hours to spare. So I've got a good feeling about this one, but I don't want to, what's it called? Don't count my chickens until they're hatched. So I will be back soon for another update. But until then, just chill, guys, because that's all I'm doing today in my pajamas still. That hasn't changed. And I have watched so many YouTube videos. It is the best day ever. Steve rang to say hello and he said, what are you doing? I said, what do you think I'm doing? I'm in bed, in pajamas, crocheting, living my best life. So goodbye for now. I've got more YouTube to catch up with. So I'll see you all very, very soon. Okay, I'm back for the last check-in for day 1, and I'm very happy to report that the blanket has been finished. So it's now nearly 10:30 at night, and I have 2 hours, 18 minutes and 6 seconds still left on the clock. I'm so happy that this is finished, and yes, every single end has been sewn in. So let me just show it to you now. Oh my gosh, hello. It's giving me manly vibes. Steve is going to love this one, but it's for a little bubba or a little baby. So I will give you more details on the sizing and the yarn colors if I can find this one here, which I will. And pretty much that's it, pretty much, other than, it's already a C to C. I did a very simple border, just some granny clusters there, because originally I was going to do shells, but it just wasn't working out, the stitch count, and that's fine. I didn't have an issue with that. We just switched it up at the very end. And that's it, guys. That is a wrap. Time for me to get out of these pajamas, have a shower, get into some new pajamas, make a nice cup of tea, and we can do this all over again tomorrow. So thank you for joining me for day 1. Now I have to think of what blanket I want to make for day 2. Stay tuned. See you soon. Good night for now. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 2 of our 60-hour challenge for our baby blankets. It's just after 9 a.m. here on Tuesday morning, the 8th of July, 2025. It's another miserable day out there, so it's perfect for crocheting. Now, I have spent about 10-15 minutes up here in the yarn room trying to work out which yarn I'm going to use. And I remembered I had this beautiful yarn here in Mill-Ends. It's twisted and it's got this thread through it with all the different colors. It's absolutely gorgeous, but seeing as I've only got 2 bags, I thought, what if I run out mid-project? This is not the time to be playing around with hours of crochet that I've dedicated to this blanket. So I'm going to put that aside for another time. So I decided that I'd go through all my Ogo yarn and see if I had a pretty colour suitable for, you know, babies, but not traditional baby colours either, something a bit bright. And I ended up finding 3, which hopefully will be enough, of the Lippy colourway in my Ogos. So there's the colours, you can see them there a bit better, and there's also that colour down there. So I thought somehow I could make this work. It says, it recommends a 6mm hook. I think the last time I used this for a blanket, I used a 6.5mm hook. My original plan this morning, as I was rummaging through the yarn to find the right yarn for today's project, was to do the V and granny stitch combination, you know, that blanket that I did a while back, a brown one, which I think was a beautiful blanket, like the stitches for a blanket. We'll see how it works with the Ogos. My only concern is that I do have only 3 of these in this colorway. I could probably find some of in my Spot Saver yarn, probably this color or something similar to the cream if I needed to do a border. So this is me thinking out loud now, taking you along for the journey for reals. You think I would have sorted all this out in my head before I joined you, but no, that's not how I roll. So that's going to be the plan for this morning. Just maybe doing a little swatch, trying to work out which stitch suits it best. I'll probably go to anywhere between 100 and 120 centimeters for the width, and then I could play with the length, I guess, depending on how much yarn I have left. And like I said, as an absolute, you know, struggle at the end, if I needed to make it, you know, bigger than what, you know, my between 100, 120 centimeters, maybe 150. I don't know if that's too big, going too big. So let's play around with that size. I'm going to go downstairs very soon and snuggle up back into bed. I am wearing my pajamas under my cardi. I just didn't even bother changing this morning, but I have had my first cup of coffee and I have hung out the, you know, clothes to dry for the day, if they dry in this weather. Otherwise, they're coming back in the garage at night. Way too much shared there. So let's get our timer ready, because last night we did very, very well. And I'm hoping today, fingers and toes crossed, that I get this blanket done within 12 hours. Okay, so where are we? Let's get our timer on. And here we go, guys. Are you ready? So blanket number 2, 12-hour countdown. Let's start it together. Here we go. I'll probably see you back in at check-in time, at least at half point. See you soon. Okay, let's pause for a little update. We'll pause at my end. So we're just over the 9 hours to go. So we're 3 hours in, which is crazy because the progress isn't as quick as I had hoped. But there has been a huge change of plan since I last saw you. Surprise, shock, horror. That's what happens when we do this in real life and not planned ahead. So what I ended up doing is walking down the stairs when I left you a few seconds ago for you. I thought I need a pattern that works well with striping yarn. And then I remembered I had made the cinnamon stitches. Is it the Sunshine Bag, or it's called something like that? I'll link it down in the description box later. And I remember how well that yarn worked with, that pattern worked with striping yarn. Here's the bag. Absolutely love making this bag. So I thought, you know what, I have to go and revisit the video. So I did have the timer running. So, you know, that 3 hours also includes me watching that video to a certain point. It would have been about 15 minutes, writing it down, and then you really do memorize it after making it. So if you ever made that bag, I highly recommend it. But it works really well as a blanket. And I'll tell you what I did so I could tweak it. So we're literally 3 hours in, which is a quarter of the way of the time, and I've finished 1 Ogo, and this is where we're at. So that's what it's looking like. I think it's coming up really, really nicely. I have ended up using a 8mm hook. because it would have been way too tight otherwise. I did start the starting chain, I think that's the way, with a 9mm hook so that it wouldn't, be all bunched up. And when I got to about the 4th row, which I'm kicking myself for now, but there's no way I'm redoing this because I will be putting a border on it. I went from doing so I've got little soldiers at the end, is what I call them, the double crochets or the end stitches to keep it, in line. Like straight edges, as straight as can be. I went from double crochets to single. So as you can see, it's made a huge difference. So although it's only a few rows, I'll rectify that later because I will have to do a border around it. But this is where we're at. So the width of it now is 95 centimeters, or I've written here, or 37 inches. So I'm planning now to add 5 balls, including this one, 5 Ogos, I should say. But I've only got 3 in this colorway, the Lippy. So I had to go and search through my Ogos to find ones that will complement the colors, not clash. And this is a time where I wish I was able to pause and wait for you to tell me your opinion, which one to use out of the 3 I'm going to show you. But I'm going to have to put my big girl pants on and work this out on my own. Fingers and toes crossed I make the right decision. But this is how I worked it out. So 1 Ogo is 23 centimeters or 9 inches. So to get it to 115 centimeters or 45 inches, which will be a nice size blanket for a baby, I need 5 Ogos. So to complement this colorway here, so the Lippy, I've got this one here, the purples, which I think is very pretty, but I'm wondering if it'll like clash. And then I have this one here with the blues, and it's also got that color in it there, the creamy beigey color. And then I have this one here, it's got the grays, the tan, and again that creamy base color, which is sort of kind of bringing it all in. So I think just by talking to you now, I've kind of narrowed it down to these 2. So it'll be one of these 2. I think as much as I love the purples, I might have to leave that for another project. So let me get my glasses on, see what the colors are called. And then at some stage, I'll come back and tell you what decision I've made. So this one is Overboard. Always reminds me of the movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Love that movie. And even the remake, if you haven't watched it. And then this one is, this is the Salt and Pep. This is the one that I made the C2C open block stitch in. So it's going to be one of these 2 to go with the Lippy. Okay, so I'm going to have a lunch break now because it's just after 1 o'clock, so 1 p.m. here. I'll have a little lunch break, think about which one might complement it the most or the closest. I wish I had honestly thought about what the yardage or the meterage in the Ogos are, because they don't have that much because it is a bulky number 5 weight yarn. And I may have chosen a color that I had more Ogos with, but you know what, this is part of the journey and part of the fun that we're living together. So on that note, you will see me in a couple of seconds, but I'm going to have a nice lunch break. As you know, it is a school holiday day and I'm not venturing out, I don't think, today at this stage. Although Steve did hint that he would like to go to the gym later. If you see me in a change of clothes, it means that we went, but I'm not changing into my gym gear at the moment. I'm quite comfy. And in saying that, sometimes when Steve finishes work, it'll be 5, 6 o'clock. So we will leave it at that for now. So back to the crochet. I am going to choose the next color to add, and then I will come and check in with you a little bit later. It's check-in time, so we're at the halfway mark. So we're on to just over the 6 hours, so 3 minutes away from halfway mark. I thought I'd pause it and come in and do a little check-in with you. So I did decide to go with the Overboard colorway in the Ogos because I spotted this bag, my Ogo bag, that was hanging by my on one of my chairs on the way down. So I thought I'll put the yarn that I was using, the Lippy, the blanket, with that, and it actually seemed to work. So that's the one that I went with, and this is what it's looking like now. hello. So I've actually put in 2 whole Ogos, and I have started the 3rd Ogo now. So I don't know, maybe the blanket's going to win this time round. Well, we still have 6 hours to work with. But Steve just got home. It's about 5:45, so 5:45 p.m. I'm going to take a couple of hours off from crochet now. I need to, get dinner sorted, lunches for Steve, and, that sorted for tomorrow. And because we're not going to the gym, which is fine by me, just Steve had a really long day. You can imagine he leaves the house at 5 a.m. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to do some stretching. I'll probably do a good 10-15 minute stretch because I really do need to do that. I don't know how people actually do this as a full-time job. I always say, that'd be living the dream. But today I think that, I'm actually feeling a bit like, I really need to stretch. So I don't know, but I still do think it's a great way to make a living if you can. Anyway, we're not doing that right now. We're trying to make some baby blankets, to beat this challenge, this 60-hour challenge. So we're day 2. I think I'll have one more check-in. I have to say that my lunch was delicious. If I remember, I'll put a photo up. I just cooked some chicken, so lightly fried it, and then in the oven I put some sweet potato fries and potato gems. I absolutely love them. And then I put a dollop of sour cream, lactose free, and I love sweet chili sauce. My stomach doesn't, so I also put a tiny drip of it into the sour cream, and it was delicious. So as you can tell, it's getting close to dinner time because I am getting hungry again. So I'm going to leave you now, and I will do another check-in when it's pretty much at the 12-hour mark. So seeing as it's 6 o'clock here now, it'll be about midnight when I see you again, or maybe even later. Maybe I can't take 2 hours off. Anyway, let's see how we go. I shall see you all very, very soon. Okay, this is going to be the last check-in for today, and what a day it's been. Since I last chatted to you, the newlyweds came over with some cake from their anniversary, so of course we had to have a little piece with them. We had a nice chat, so that took seriously up to about an hour. So I don't regret at all that I spent that time with them. And I said to them, guys, I need to get to about 6 hours of crochet. So they went off to have their dinner. Steve and I had our dinner. Then we watched some Water Rats together, which is our favourite Aussie cop show at the moment. So if you get an opportunity to see it, watch it. It is an old one, but we love it. So now, did I mention it's coming on to about 10:30 at night? You can tell I'm getting tired. I need to have a shower, get out of these pajamas and get into some fresh pajamas. But I'm going to give you the update on the blanket. I think we're going to just have to admit that today the blanket won. So it's blanket 1, Litza 1. So that's okay. But it is going to be a beautiful blanket. So I've at 3 hours and 33 minutes before the end of the 12 hours. I am going to continue crocheting a little bit until I fall asleep tonight. So I will stop this. Hopefully I won't fall asleep, but I will stop it when I finish crocheting for the night. It might be another couple of hours, more than likely, I'd say, maybe even the whole 3.5 hours. But each and every Ogo I worked out takes me about 2.5 hours for the 5 colours. So half an hour for each colour to put it through. But I did get through 3 complete Ogos today. And with a time, actually I think it actually looks quite good. I imagine when it's finished, like up close, it is a beautiful fabric. So I'm imagining tonight I might actually get the blue in. So another blue, and then I'll have the pink. So there was that overboard and the lippy to go. So I might finish, hopefully, the overboard and maybe even get started on the lippy. But wherever I end tonight is where I end with it, because tomorrow will be day 3 and blanket 3. I still haven't decided what it's going to be as yet, so we're just going to have to check in with each other in the morning. So for now, I'm going to say good night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for day 2. Let's bring on day 3. Bye for now. Good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, the 9th of July, 2025, and it's day 3 of our 60-hour challenge, or 5-day challenge for crocheting baby blankets. Let me tell you, I feel a bit smashed this morning. It's 8 a.m. I still haven't had my breakfast or my first cup of coffee, but I have put a load of washing on. So I thought I'd do a quick summary of last night after I left you. So at about 12:39, that was it. My hook went down and I was 2 hours and 19 minutes away from the 12-hour mark. But the blanket had already beat me, so I thought, that's okay. We can try to rest now. Although, you know, it's not a horrible day crocheting all day, don't get me wrong. And all I did was add from here to here. So I've still got all of the overboard to go, about 2/3 of it left, I guess, and a whole lipsy. So this blanket is, you know, now a whip, and that's okay. But I couldn't sleep for about 3 hours, so it had nothing to do with the blanket making. It was just my head was going round and round, you know, processing things. I was on YouTube for a while, and then while I was obviously, you know, unable to sleep, I was thinking, what am I going to do today? What blanket am I going to crochet? What yarn? And it has to be the Aldi yarn. Guys, there's going to be an avalanche if I touch this. There is a whole black garbage bag, so a big bin garbage bag full of yarn, and also all the yarn that I've been gifted by Fran, and you know, the yarn that Kim got me. So I have to use the Aldi yarn. And then I was thinking maybe I'll make Sunburst granny squares and then piece them, like join them as I go. We'll see. I will go downstairs and have my coffee and experiment with a couple of hook sizes, because I don't want it to be too holey for a baby. But in saying that as well, I don't want it to be too tight as well. So that's the plan for today so far. So let's reset our clock, our timer I should say, to 12 hours. I'm going to have that cup of coffee. I'm nice and warm now with my Hexicardi gifted to me by Thea. But the sun is out today, so there is hope that I might be able to get out of the house and actually sit on the balcony or something. So let's get started. Here we go. Here's our 12-hour timer. Okay, so it's on. Bring on day 3, guys. I will check in with you shortly. Check-in time. So we're down to about 9.5 hours to go, just under, which means it's been about 2.5 hours since I started the timer. I did make a decision on the coloured yarn from Aldi that I'll be using. Yes, this time I did check to make sure I had enough of the colours that I needed. Well, I'm pretty sure I've calculated right. So I'm going with these 3 colours here. So the pink, the orange, and this is like a stripy orange and purple and pink through it. So I think it's going to look very nice. And a 7mm hook. So I did go with a Sunburst granny square. I've made 5 in total, and I'll tell you about my little plan of action for the size of the blanket. So here they are here. Obviously when, you know, they're bordered, they will be less wavy, but I think they've come up nice. It's very like, very girly, I guess, this one, if there's such a thing nowadays. And also very, like, you know, very sweet looking. So I'll just pop that there for now. So the plan is this. Each square is 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters, pretty much, approximately, or pretty much, I'd say. So if I do 5 rows of 5 times 5, that's 25 squares. That'll give me 37.5 inches or 95 centimeters, because I do want to put a border of each of these colors at the very least, because it might be too much to put that in there, unless I put it in the middle. So I'm going to do at least 2 or 3 rows, something like that. So that'll bring it up to about 100 centimeters at least, close to the 40-inch mark. So that's what my plan is for this blanket. So I'll probably check in again when we're at the halfway mark, see how far we've gotten. This blanket's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze if my guesstimation of the sizing is correct, but I did make a couple of squares at first with different size hooks, so that might have added to my time. But of course I am going to have a coffee break now, because since I last saw you it was around 8ish, I think 8 a.m, and now it's getting closer to 12 noon, which is almost lunchtime. So I'm going to have a fresh cup of coffee, have a short lunch break, and then I'll be back when we're down to about 6 hours to go. See you soon. Okay, we're at our halfway mark update, so about 6 hours to go, just over. So what have I been up to since I last saw you? Okay, let's put that away. So I added this square here, and that's not all I did, believe me. So that's one square. And then I thought, why don't I just, factory work the middle bits or the Sunburst flower part, and then I can square them off. So I've made the 9, what's this color? Orange. It looks like peach or apricot, but the orange. And I've done 5 of the out of 10 of the pink centers. That's what they are, the centers. So I've got 5 more of the pinks to go, and then I'm going to start assembling them by adding the border and then adding them or join them as I go. So it doesn't look like much progress since I last saw you, but those little centers, you can really get into a rhythm and they run away. So 5 to go. Oh, I haven't even timed them. I'm guessing around 15 minutes each, because it was about 25 minutes each to complete and join. So we'll see how we go. In 6 hours, we might just make it this time. At the very least, I'm hoping to have all the squares done and then just have the border. In a perfect 12-hour challenge, I would be able to complete it all. So I'm going to tap in for one last check-in at about 6 hours from now, although it'll be a bit longer because I am going to take a couple of hours off now, get bring the clothes in, get dinner sorted, the usual drill. It's pretty much Groundhog Day around here usually, and because I've set aside this week for this challenge, it definitely feels like it. But it's fun that I've been able to, tap in and catch you up on what I've been doing. So that's it for now. I will see you at the end of the 12-hour challenge, which is 6 hours away, but only a second before I see you again. Here we are for the last check-in for day 3. Oh my gosh, it's just after 11. I must look a fright. I haven't even looked in the mirror. We've just come off a huge night of football. So for all our Aussie friends, State of Origin, the decider. Congratulations, Queensland. Steve is one very happy chappy, and I have to say I'm very happy for your captain, Kevin Munster. So on that note, hey, next year maybe it'll be a Blues year, but this year the Maroons got it, so well done. So to all our friends up north, congratulations. It was a really good 3 games, but the decider, Queensland were the better team. Okay, so now back to our blankets. So we're down to the last 7 minutes and 20, 7 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to call it a day, guys. Okay, so where are we at with our blanket for today? So close, so close. This is all I have left to put on. And a border, of course. But let me tell you, it's a very pretty blanket. I kind of wish I had added yellow. So here we are here. So we've just got the final 2 down there to put on. What are your thoughts? If I make this one again, I'm thinking yellow instead of the pink. Anyway, it is what it is. It's going to make a nice warm blanket for some little bubba. Even maybe like a play rug. It'll be nice for, tummy time. So that's it. Thanks for coming along for today's journey. Day 4 tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. Well, yet again, I haven't chosen the yarn or the stitch. I have got a couple of things in mind, but we'll see tomorrow morning what it brings us. I am ready for a shower, a hot cup of tea and bed. So I'm going to say good night and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 4 of our 60-hour blanket challenge, baby blanket challenge. It's Thursday, the 10th of July, 2025, and it's just after 9:30 a.m. I got a little bit distracted this morning. I've been watching one of my favourite comedians, Leanne Morgan. If you have not hung out with her, you really should. I can totally relate to her. So I'm going to link her in the description box. Go and check her out. She is amazing fun. Like I said, I totally relate to her, and I think that if she ever came to Australia and there was a opportunity to pay to hang out with her backstage, I would save all my pennies and make sure that I bought that ticket, and I think that it would be just like hanging out with a girlfriend. So back to the task at hand, which is putting together another baby blanket today. And if I don't get started soon, oh my goodness, I'll be crocheting till 2 a.m. because today I'm also going to have a couple of hour pause because it is our podcast day where I, share all of your makes, and I can't wait for that. I haven't even checked any emails as yet, so I'm going to have to allow at least a couple of hours towards that. This is why I'm dressed up today, ready, put my big girl clothes on. I do have slippers and socks on though, because I thought, 3 days in pajamas is just overindulgent, right? So today I'm going to be a big girl and get the day started right, even though it's nearly lunchtime. So the yarn choice for the day. I thought today's the day I needed a bulky weight yarn. If only I had thought ahead, today I would have been using blanket yarn and doing a C2C, because obviously that's the one I'm quickest at, right? But instead I found this yarn that I have been saving for such a long time for whatever reason, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'll show you, this isn't what I'm making with it because I've already done the C2C. It works up like this. It's very much like funfetti, like the funfetti cookies and that, which I absolutely love. So the yarn looks like this in the ball band. And I've got one whole bag of millings, 400 grams, plus 3 balls. Well, the best part of 3 balls. But it is quite thin, so I'd say that's like a DK weight, or at the very most, I'd say DK 8 ply, even though it's got the little flex in it. I think that there should be plenty, because there'd be quite a bit of yardage or meterage in there, seen as it is a thinner yarn. But because I want to make it bulkier so I can crochet up quicker with a bigger hook, crochet hook, I thought I might just team it up with some of my Spot Saver, which is a 10 ply 100% acrylic. This to me feels like an acrylic yarn as well. So when I put the 2 strands together, oops, doesn't want to come out. I think it'll work up well. So I'm going to go downstairs now and do a little bit, make a couple of little swatches. Thinking that I would like to do the V-stitch this time around, because it is one of my favorite stitches and it does go very, very quickly. I work out what size hook so that it's not too holey, which it will be because it is a V-stitch, but for a baby, maybe a shell stitch. Okay, leave it with me. I'll go and work that out. I'll come back and check in with you, in an hour or two. And then after that, I might take that little break and put together today's podcast, and then continue with the blanket making challenge. So for now, I'm going to leave you and I'll be back in just a sec. It literally has been a second because I forgot to start our timer. So here we go. Let's get the 12 hours going. Oh my goodness, day 4. I will see you soon. Beautiful sunny day here today, and I thought great opportunity to sit on the balcony, but look what's going on here. The wind is crazy. So I think it's going to be another indoors day, enjoying the sunshine and the blue skies from inside. Can't even imagine what the clothes look like downstairs, so I'm going to run down there quickly and I will see you very soon for an update. Whoa, that wind is ferocious. Oh my God, it's freezing down there. I've just checked the clothes. They're all still on the line. The pegs didn't fly off in the clothes, but I did have to untangle them. Do I look a bit disheveled? Anyway, let's get back to the blanket. So I decided to do the V-stitch and granny stitch combination with stitches, which I had done a brown blanket in, crocheted one, which looks gorgeous. Double stranding the yarn is fun because I get to use a 7mm hook. So that should fly off the hook, hopefully. And here is what it looks like. How fun is this pattern, guys? Oh my gosh. It doesn't matter which way you look at it because you turn it each time. I think that is a very fun baby stitch blanket. So I am using the 2 yarns together, as we said, double stranding it. So I've got this thingy that my goddaughter bought me. Sophia, I'm finally using it. I absolutely love this thing. It is so fun to work with. And of course my Spot Saver, and we are 1 hour in. So there we go. It is, what time is it here now? It's just after 11, it looks like. Or no, 11:05. I can't see without my glasses. Let me pop them on. So yeah, 11:05 a.m. So I'm going to pause now and have a cup of coffee. And then I think I might just put out the podcast a bit earlier today because I need to answer everybody's emails because I've been very slack with this challenge. I've just been concentrating on that, and then just put the video together, do a little tiny bit of editing, and then get back on task on this. So I might be away from the blanket for a couple of hours, but I will check in with you maybe before half time. We'll see how we go, but at the very least, when we're in the 6 hours mark, I will get back and let you know what we're up to, and hopefully I've gotten through at least 3 or 4 balls. Oh, and by the way, I did use an 8mm hook for the starting chain, just so you know that, in case you were wondering. And the other little trick that I do, or tip I'm going to share with you, this is meant to be a multiple of 3. So when I chain, I don't actually 9 out of 10 times I don't count. I just use my tape measure only when it's a blanket. So don't do this for anything else like a wearable. So I chain, and then I get my tape measure, and when it's about the length that I want, so this one wanted to be about 100 centimeters. I got it to about 103 centimeters, which is around the 40-inch mark from memory. And then what I do is I follow the pattern, and then at the end with this one, I actually had 1 stitch extra. So what I do is I untie my, you know, your slip stitch, the knot. I untie that, and then I make 1 less stitch. I hope that makes sense, because it's actually saved me many a time, because sometimes I go a bit cross-eyed when I start counting the chains for the chain, and very rarely do I actually count along the way correctly. So that's my tip for the day. I hope it helps you. You may have already known that, but I just thought because I did that this morning and it was fresh in my mind, I'd let you know. So I'm going to see you all very, very soon. So hang in there. See you in a sec. Disaster has struck. My Aldi coffee machine just there has died. Of all days today, look at the wind. Can you see that out that window? It is howling out there, and I really didn't want to leave today, but I have to go shopping to Aldi to buy a coffee machine. Yes, I am that addicted to my Aldi coffee pots. The last coffee I just had was like dishwater, and that isn't going to happen on my watch. So let's go shopping. Here we are at Aldi. Let's hope this one has a coffee machine. I've got a weird feeling about this. I hope I'm wrong. All I saw was the 1 damaged box, but there's something in the back. Let's have a look. We're in luck. I found one in a new box. It says matte black. It'll have to do. And let's look for the coffee pod. Yes. Number 5. Perfect. We were in luck. I found a coffee machine, because I always worry that there won't be any at the Aldi that I go to, because it's quite small. There it is there. And I also got some coffee pods, which is great. And while we're here, I thought we'd pop into Big W, because Thea told me that there is a huge sale going on. So this is where let me step back. My Big W, I'll flip it over. How do I do this, guys? let me just, okay, there's not much yarn here, but it certainly is on sale. So thank you for letting us know, Thea. I don't know how long this will last, but the Shawn sheep, the acrylic, is $1.85 by the looks of it. The 8 ply, I think that is. I haven't got my glasses on, so yes, it looks like it's all the 8 ply. And then I wanted to get some of this Serene tweed that Thea had bought. It's $5.20. It's still not cheap, but I might give it a go. Oh, look at all the nice colours. There's lots of bare shelves. And then we go down to the Sierra yarn. It's never been on sale. It's down to $7.35, the 8 ply and the chunky. Looks a mess though. Oh, I wonder what that yarn is there. We'll have a look. Let's have a look. That's chunky yarn maker. Great colours. I've never bought the chunky Sierra, but it looks very nice. And then what else is down here? Pardon me, went too fast, but see how empty the shelves are here. This is pretty much the fullest I've seen it actually in a while. And look at this, $2.30 for this variegated 8-ply acrylic. And then we have these cakes down here. Actually, that's pretty good. Crypto 8-ply for $6.30. Okay, it actually feels nice and soft, so that's something to keep in mind. And there's some more of that serene yarn down there. And over here is a wall, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, of the carnival yarn. And some more of the Sierra down the bottom there. But that's not on sale, the carnival, which is quite, you know, standard acrylic, nothing to rave about. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I'm gonna buy anything. I'm just gonna pop you away for a minute and then I'll get back to you. Look at that, I found 3 lonely balls of poppet yarn. This was actually fun to work with. I made a baby blanket out of it and it's down to $3.25. But what can you make with 3 balls of pink? Anyway, I'm gonna pause you again. Oh, this looks fun. It's called Funshine. Oh my gosh, it is so soft, guys. Look at the colors. That would make like crazy hat, wouldn't it? We'll see. As tempting as all the colors are, I'm gonna shop responsibly. So I'm gonna get one of the tweed, one of the chunky Sierra, and one of this Funshine one. I think they're all destined to be hats. We'll see how we go. Okay, thanks for coming to Big W. This made me giggle. I had to share. None of us are quitters, right? Okay, I'm home with the coffee machine. That's the new one from Aldi. It's more compact than the one before. And let me say, lucky that I took it out, like got rid of this one today, because when I looked under there so I could wash, you know, there's crumbs and that under it, it was flooded with water. So, oh my gosh, imagine, God forbid, what could have happened with electricity. They're my favourite coffee pods. This one here is number 5, and that's my decaffe, the decaffeinated. My whole family prefers stronger ones, but that's okay. Now let's put it to the test. More importantly, I've got my coffee, my milk already heated. Let's pop the coffee capsule in. What I love about these the ease of using them. Okay, first coffee ever. We get to share it together, guys. Are you ready? Okay. It's a little bit noisy, but that's okay. Is it coming out? Yes, success. I'm going to have this now with some lunch. And I have to tell you, I'm very responsible. I walked past and drove past 2 McDonald's on the way, but instead I bought a barbecue chicken, and I'm making a chicken lettuce and mayo sandwich to go with my coffee, and Steve can have a drumsticks for lunch tomorrow. Okay, I think we need a little bit more. Hold on. I love these and this. Back in the 80s, I had one of those huge cappuccino machines. Well, it wasn't that big, but and the amount of cleaning we took, it wasn't worth making a coffee. But nowadays, my daughter and son have one, and they actually love it. Well, that's it, guys. Oh my gosh, here we go. See you soon. Cheers. Okay, final check-in for day 4. What a day it has been. So since I last saw you, I had lunch. It was delicious. That was around 2 o'clock. And since then, I've put out podcast number 143. If you haven't already watched that, make sure you go and see it. It's a good one, as always. Lots of fun makes that I showcased. And then I made lunch for Steve. We had dinner. Steve is now watching Water Rats downstairs. I want to go and catch up with him. It is currently just after 8 p.m. And let me tell you, I only got another hour of crochet in. So we've still got 10 hours. Now, according to this, if I continue with the challenge, I can finish at 6 a.m. Now, we all know that's not going to happen. So I'll just close this for now. So this is the plan for now. I'm going to go downstairs and have a very hot shower because it is very cold still. Get into my pajamas, make a fresh cup of tea, and then crochet for the next 2-3 hours. and I will make sure that I put the timer back on, and in the morning I will update you on that before we start challenge day 5, the last one, which is amazing, right? So this is how far I've gotten in the blanket. This is one complete ball. So where this stitch marker is here is where the ball ended. And when I measured from here to here, it was about 21 centimeters, 8 inches, which means I need 5 balls to get to the 100 centimeter mark, which is great because I had 8 balls in total. So I'm going to take a couple of the balls of yarn with me downstairs, hopefully at least one more in. And the good thing is, in my mind, I'm thinking this: if I had actually sat down like the past 3 days and sat down and crocheted for 12 hours, I would have finished this blanket, but that's okay. It's going to be a future whip, and I absolutely love the way that this worked up. It's so pretty, and I really do think that it's always right what we say. You've got to marry the right yarn with the right hook and the right stitch, because how much better does this look, in my opinion anyway, this compared to how busy this is in a corner to corner. Just that slight difference makes a huge difference, especially up close in real life. And this is such a spongy, soft fabric compared to this one. It's quite thin. It depends on what you're going for anyway. But what I'm saying is I'm very happy with my choice of stitches for this blanket. I am going to put another ball in at the very least. I'm sure I can manage that this evening, and then I'm just going to have to continue with it until I finish it, because it is going to make a beautiful baby blanket. So that's it. Thanks for sticking with me for today. Today was a little bit all over the place, but I guess that's what happens when you get out of your pajamas and you jump into some clothes. Things are going to happen, but this challenge has been fun so far. Let's see what day 5 brings us. So for now, I'm going to say good night, and I will see you in just a click of some fingers. Good night for now. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 5 of our 60-hour challenge. Today is Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. It's nearly 9 a.m. I've had a very cruisy start to the morning as usual. School holidays are definitely the best. So let's recap what happened last night after I left you. So I continued to crochet, and at 12:30, my hook went down, and we were 5 hours into the challenge, just over, so, or just under. Anyway, I thought that was amazing, that considering what sort of a day we had yesterday, that I did get 5 hours in. And let me show you where I'm up to in that blanket. It's actually really pretty. I am into my 3rd ball of the coloured yarn and 2nd ball of the Spot Saver. And I'm halfway done. Wow. So that's about 51 centimeters there. So in all reality, if I had sat down all day yesterday, I would have finished that blanket. But, you know, would have, could have, should have, didn't. But let's get on to today's blanket. So last night I was thinking, while I was crocheting, my eyes are watering, it is so cold. I was thinking, we haven't done a granny square yet, and what a great way to end this challenge, with a giant granny square. And then I remembered I used to make a lot of granny square blankets for the babies that were, you know, in our lives, and I haven't made one of these for about a year, using this baby chenille yarn from Spotlight. It is so super soft, and I thought these colors would team up nicely together. Let me take this one out of the bag, because I found 4 bags of these. So that should be plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags in each. So these 2 together. I thought they would look nice. I might start the center off in that and then put a border on with this one. And these are only 50 grams each, so you do need quite a few of them. It's polyester yarn. It's like a baby chenille. I have one here that's open. I've got 3 and a bit of this color, this mint here. Even though it's so thin, I remember always using a 7mm hook, because it makes it nice and fluffy, and you can't see these stitches at all. So the granny square, just turning it each round, is going to be the simplest and quickest way to go. So let's let's reset our counter. Done. And let's get started. And at some point I'll check in, and then we'll see how we go today. Fingers and toes crossed that we actually finish this blanket because we started off with a bang, and let's finish off with a bang. Let's see how we go. After yesterday, I'm not predicting anything. Let's just go with the flow. Let's see how it pans out today. So let's get started. There we are. See you soon. It's update time. So I've been crocheting for just over 3 hours. So that's pretty good. I just couldn't stop. It was just too much fun. So let me show you where I'm up to. I've got some stats for you. Now, this is how big it's grown. I think it looks very, very pretty. Well, I don't know if the word's pretty, but I'm quite liking it. It's so soft, this yarn. I absolutely love it. And those of you who have worked with it will know how soft it is. So my intention is to just have that center mint color there, then the whole color. So this is called ambient. I didn't tell you last time what it's called. It's got beautiful, like the lemon yellow, the gray, the mint, and it looks like a little, that blue, it's like a bluey mint color, so it really does match up nicely, and some white. And then at the very end, I'm going to do a few rounds with the mint again, because I do have, I think, 3 more balls. So I've actually, oops, don't want to lose that lucky stitch marker, guys. So I've gone through 3 ball bands pretty much of the ambient. There's only a little bit dangling here. Where is it? That's it. And a tiny bit of this ball here, because it was already a ball that I had started in the mint. And I do have 3 full, so 150 grams down there. I think I should be right. I'm aiming for 5 rounds, but we'll see how we go. Hopefully at the very least 3 rounds. So at the moment, the blanket is 56 centimeters across, or 22 inches. And I've done 19 rounds. Now, as we all know, when you crochet a granny square, the bigger it gets. When you're doing one giant granny square, the longer it takes to go around. But we're playing with just under 9 hours. So fingers and toes, guys. I've got a good feeling about this. So now I am going to have a little break, because look at my finger. Can you see the dent in it? Never mind the crooked finger. Have one of those rings. I don't know how many of you can use them. Those tension rings. I remember buying, they were like swans off Amazon. When I first started to crochet, I bought a set of 3, and I gave away 2 to 2 of my girlfriends, and for the life of me I couldn't find it. And then I thought, why am I wasting time looking for it? I actually don't know how to use it. I think I've even watched YouTube videos here on YouTube University, and nothing happened. I couldn't work it out. So anyway, enough about that. I'm going to have a little lunch break now. I'm thinking today we'll go for eggs sunny side up and potato gems. It's still quite cold outside, but a beautiful sunny day, so I thought that'll warm me up. I did have a morning tea break, some cruscets, the usual, in between since I last saw you. So I'm going to get onto that and then start crocheting again. I'm very excited to get this blanket done, because I actually have a little baby in mind for this one. The others, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. But anyway, and any of you that may have been wondering, I made this poncho and I'm wearing it long ways instead of with the points. This was the one and only poncho I've ever made, and I believe from memory it's a bag o' day poncho. And I had no idea about yarn or anything. This must be at least 3 years old, and I double stranded the 8-ply Semco yarn. And then I used, this is like that Christmas Kringle yarn, Jolly and Joy I think it is, and I double stranded that as well. So this is very heavy, but let me tell you, it's very, very warm as well. So last night when the wind was so strong and blowing outside, I think it was coming through all the pores of the house, if there's such a thing, that this was actually really nice and warm to wear. So even though my hands are frozen, I don't know about you guys, the more you crochet, it doesn't seem that your hands warm up at all. But anyway, that is the update for now. I'm going to leave you for a little bit, and like I said, you will blink and I will be back. Here we are at our 6-hour mark update. Oh my gosh, 6 hours and 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go. This is very, very exciting. So we're halfway there. Let me give you the latest stats where we're at. So we had added the 3 ball bands, or the 3 balls of yarn. Whoops, I just can't hold them. My hands are so cold. I've added another 3. So I'll show you the blanket. So Currently, we are at 31.5 inches or 80 centimeters. Now, I don't want to get too excited yet because as we know, as the blanket grows, it takes longer to go around. But that's okay. I still have very high hopes for this blanket. Let's see. So here it is here. I folded it in half. Well, there it is, a third. So you can see the colors, how they come together. So nice. And here it is here. And I have folded it in half. So it is a very, very nice size. And I don't think I confirmed that I'm actually using a 7mm hook. And it's coming up so, so soft and fluffy, guys. I love this yarn. But I think the only stitch I would ever use it with is a granny stitch, granny square. Otherwise, it just gets lost. It's so, so fluffy though. So very, very quickly since I last saw you, I just had the great pleasure of hanging out with 4 little people, ages between 4 and 8. They're my son and daughter-in-law's nieces and nephews. They're so adorable. They've come over to their little granny flat for the night. They're having a Lilo and Stitch and pizza party, so they'll be watching the movie. And they got them all these little figurines, and it's just going to be so much fun. And you know what it's like, seeing the little people. They always give you so much joy. So Steve and I hung out with them for about 10 or 15 minutes. It was so, so cute. So I thought I'd let you know that that was part of my afternoon since I last saw you. So for now, I'm going to sign off and see you by the 12-hour mark. One more check-in for our 60-hour challenge. Oh my gosh, guys, this has been amazing. Just stay tuned. Let the record show that at 10:26 p.m., the 60-hour challenge was completed with just under 2.5 hours to go. Hallelujah, that is amazing. So let's talk about our last blanket. 8 balls of the Bella Baby in Ambient, 2 balls of the Bella Baby in Mint, and we have a beautiful granny square blanket complete. And oh my goodness, I just think it is so very, very gorgeous, so simple and so soft, guys. So in the end, I put 3 rows of the Mint, and I just thought I'd keep it nice and simple. It's 40 inches and just over 100 centimeters. Very, very squishy, very, very soft. Very, very happy that I was able to start this challenge with a blanket win on either end as bookends, as they say. So the next time you see me will be my final check-in. But for now, good night. Here we are for the final check-in. I have a stack of blankets after that week. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to report, as you saw along the way, that I have 2 completed blankets. And each blanket I probably didn't mention in the very beginning, but I'm sure I have along the way, had to be about like a minimum of 100 centimeters. So it is a decent sized baby blanket. So what we might do now as a final recap is just go through the whips that I have, which is 3 blankets, guesstimate how much time I have to before I finish them all. And I'm hoping that before the end of July, because today is the 12th of July 2025, I have these finished. Because how amazing would that be to either gift them, because we do have a few little babies coming into the family, or just put them to the side for donation, because a huge community drive will be coming up for 2026. Okay, now this one has quite a few ends to weave in, but only 2 more squares and then a border. So let's recap where we're at with this one. So this was the Aldi yarn with the Sunburst granny squares. I just need to pop those down there and do a border. So I'm guesstimating another 1.5 hours maybe for this one, 2 hours max. Oh, actually, let's put in 2 hours because I need to sew in all the ends. So that's that one there. Let's pop that one to the side. And this is a very squishy one as well. I absolutely love that one. The only thing that I might change with that one if I do it again, as I mentioned earlier, is maybe swap the pink for a yellow. But for now, it's very, very sweet, right? Now, this one here, I know that I'm halfway done. So I have about 5 hours to go. This is the funfetti one, we'll call it. Here it is here. This one turned out gorgeous. It is a very nice size. We are halfway. I am holding the 2 strands together with this one, so I'll probably, oh, I've dropped it. There we go. I'll probably have to do this one while I'm home. I won't be traveling with this one. So this one is about 5 hours. So we're up to 7 hours. Another challenge. So 7 hours I'm guesstimating. And then this beautiful one made with Ogo yarn. I am still attached to one of the Ogos. So I think 2.5 hours, I think from memory, was each Ogo. So I've got a whole one to put in and about 2/3 of this one. So what's that, about 2.5, 4 hours? So we're up to 7 and 4 is 11 hours, if my math is correct. So this is another very pretty one as well. Perfect stitch for the striping yarn, the Ogos. So another whole day, and I would be able to finish them all, and that is dedication, right? But let's get on to the finished blankets, which I absolutely love, and they're both super soft and super squishy. And there's no surprise that the granny square, the giant granny square, was one of the ones that, you know, flew off the hook quite fast. And this is a beautiful, beautiful soft baby blanket here. I have made many a blanket using this yarn, and they have been loved each and every time. So that's one completed, ready to be gifted or donated. And then look at this one, and I have a surprise with this one. This one was the very first one. Steve loves this one because it's Manly colours, his football team, and also Queensland. He's a Queensland supporter. This one, of course, was no surprise to me. The C2C has been my go-to for blanket yarn for so long. 10 hours to complete this, and I did have that extra time. Again, such a soft, squishy blanket, and I made a chicken to go with it. And this is the first time I have ever, oh my gosh, look at that, crocheted a chicken. So I am so happy with it. And after you know, making this chicken, I realized that because I had never made one like this before, depending on how big you make your base, that's how tall, you know, you can go as tall as you want for your chicken, and that's how you get all the different sizes. But I did base this on Stella Makes or Stella Designs, the chicken pattern, so I'll link that down in the description box. And I absolutely love this one. I think the yarn is called Dappled yarn from Burnett. It's a blanket yarn, and I did use a 6.5mm hook because it seemed to be more holy with my go-to 7mm hook for blanket yarn. So this is a perfect little set, right? Oh my gosh, look at that. Absolutely love that. Excuse me for my excitement. I will try to maybe make something to go with each blanket as well. It would be nice, you know, I do like my little ensembles, but for now, that's it. That's the challenge. If I want to recap about my experience, this is it. Every day was fun because 4 out of the 5 days I was in pajamas. I mean, what more could you ask for, you know, 4 pajama days in 1 week? But I have to say that watching that timer ticking away, it wasn't pressure, but I was relating it to if this was my full-time job and I had commissions, for example, that I had to, you know, get out on time, or was preparing for a big market or something. I take my hat off to each and every person who has made this their job, their career, their way of, you know, paying their bills. Because it is huge. I can't even tell you how many times I got up to stretch. Oh my gosh, without the stretching, I wouldn't have survived. You know, by the end of the day, and it's been very cold here, I could hardly feel my hands. You would think with all that crocheting, your hands would warm up, but they don't. But I'm not saying it's a horrible way to make a living. Absolutely love the idea of it. But for me, I'd have to have it like, for example, if I had a Etsy store, where I could make them at my own pace, just put them out there, and whoever wanted to buy whatever was available, that's how it would go. But as far as a fun challenge for home goes, and to share it with your friends, it was a lot of fun. I dedicated the whole week to it, and let me tell you, not much more happened other than the very basics of, you know, cooking and a little bit of housekeeping, washing the clothes, and pretty much, you know, feeding myself and Steve and having a shower in and out of pajamas. I know that is a lot of shared, but after the whole vlog, you know, I shared a lot through the week. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had as much fun with this challenge as I did. Please be kind in your comments when it comes to how I look throughout the vlog, but it was just real life. And you know what? I've got the challenge bug now, vlogging that is. I think that maybe once a term, so in the school holidays, I might put out another challenge for myself and share that with you, because at the end of the day, when it was all done, I felt a little bit lost. I was like, what am I going to do today? But don't you worry, I have ideas for crochet and life, of course. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're all keeping well, and until I see you all very, very soon, take care everyone. Bye bye for now.